him, hits an errant second shot.
And this is the scene now in London where Barry McGuigan is entering the arena, and the crowd very pro McGuigan. Most of the folks here have come in by charter plane from Ireland and Northern Ireland to see if their man at the age of 24 can unseat the longest reigning current champion in boxing today, Eusebio Pedroza. Quite a sight, this soccer stadium with the ring in what would be the center of the field. It is covered. It has been overcast. It rained a lot here yesterday, but it is dry tonight. And in London right now, it is about 13 minutes before 10 o'clock. It is brisk temperature in the low 50s, but a lot of body heat surrounding one Barry McGuigan right now as he is escorted toward the ring. He has burst upon the scene and made his way up to a point where he, in the eyes of many, will be able to wrest the championship from Pedroza tonight. But that, of course, remains to be seen, as Eusebio has held that title for 7 years and is undefeated in 9 years. Barry McGuigan, at the age of 24, almost ready as the shoving and jostling goes on. There is a great deal of security here tonight, as you can well imagine, with everybody so sensitive in regard to the recent tragedy in Brussels. So a great deal of security. They have banned alcoholic beverages here. They have banned bottles from being brought into the stadium. The chant, Barry, Barry, and here he is. The challenger from Clones, Monaghan County. And that is why he is known as the Clone Cyclone, is in the ring. And you will hear the chanting and singing throughout the bout as we await the arrival of the champion, Eusebio Pedroza. And so much has been made of the fact that the crowd will be so pro McGuigan that Pedroza might be in trouble in terms of the judges being swayed. Keep in mind, as Pedroza comes into the ring, a neutralizing factor. The WBA sanctioning this fight is based in Panama. They have a Panamanian champion, and the men judging and refereeing the fight are named by the group in Panama. And so that, if anything, you can read into that whatever you'd like, might be enough to offset any advantage you think McGuigan might have because of the fact that he is fighting in front of a very partisan crowd. Now, as far as consecutive title fights won are concerned, Joe Louis, the record with 26. Abe Attell was a featherweight, so he holds the record in this division at 22. Larry Holmes, his current streak is 21, and Pedroza can tie Holmes with a victory here tonight. He has defended his title 19 times, so he has won 20 consecutive title fights. The combatants are in the ring. It should be quite a fight coming up from London.
You know, when it comes to being a champ...
Gamblers fights with Denver's Dynamite Big D. Action begins live at 2:30 Eastern tomorrow on the USFL.
Back in London, God Save the Queen and the Panamanian anthem have been played, and now there is Barry McGuigan's father, Patrick, a pop singer for years, leading the crowd in Danny Boy. a scene. That may be a first in boxing. The father of the challenger leading the crowd in a rendition of Danny Boy, the Clone Cyclone, Barry McGuigan, fighting for the WBA Featherweight Championship, taking on Eusebio Pedroza. Stanley Christodoulou of South Africa will be the referee tonight, and it's the 5th time he has refereed one of Pedroza's fights. The 2 judges are Ove Ovesen of Denmark and Fernando Viso of Venezuela. 2 judges and the referee. The referee does the scoring as well with a 10-point must system, scheduled for 15. Back with the start of the fight from London in just a moment.
It's a small company.
Paint straight from the can. Painting your walls instead. The Wagner Power Roller, the right tool for painting.
Breezy and chilly and variable, the best way to describe the weather. How cold is it, you ask? Well, last night on the 7th of June in London, you could see your breath. Not quite that chilly right now, but around 50 degrees, the tail of the tape. They say, or at least Pedroza says he's 29. Most will tell you he's 32. McGuigan is 24. Pedroza has a 3-inch height advantage. Pedroza came in right at the limit today, and McGuigan at 125, and Pedroza has a 4-inch reach advantage. Again, the 10-point must system. The referee and 2 judges do the scoring. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Mandatory 8 count, no saving by the bell except in round 15. And the crowd into it right off the bat. McGuigan is normally the quicker starter, and a lot of people think for him to win the fight, he'll have to knock Pedroza out. It's not necessarily the only way he can win the fight, but it would seem to be his best chance. Pedroza normally starts slowly, even though he's showing good footwork here and good movement in the first round. But he's a man who really excels in what they call the championship rounds, 11 through 15. He's sticking that left jab in there right off the bat. Both men with excellent left hooks. Both work well to the body. The harder puncher would probably be McGuigan. Through the years, the attrition may have cost Pedroza a little bit of zip. So he's not the kind of guy who will knock you out with one punch. McGuigan landing with his first hook. The other stigma that follows Pedroza around is the fact that he fouls a lot. Low blows, elbows, shoulders. He gets away with everything he can, and there is the first warning from Stanley Christodoulou. His reputation precedes him, and the crowd booing him right off the bat. 20-foot ring in London. Pedroza landing a decent right hand. Pedroza very active here in this first round. Using the ring. More movement than you might expect from him early on. McGuigan had hoped to set the pace, control the tempo in round 1. Pedroza sticking that left, still moving. McGuigan trying to cut off the ring, but Pedroza not letting him. Bouncing off the ropes. The left. And again, tying him up, and that's where he likes to use those elbows when he can. Getting inside. Good infighter. Uses the bolo punch when he can. Good uppercutter. First round action. 30 seconds remaining in round 1. WBA Featherweight Championship. McGuigan trying to close off the ring, getting Pedroza momentarily in the corner. So many of these people are so far from the ring that anything McGuigan throws looks like it lands. So you'll hear a lot of response to everything as the first round comes to a climax.
In the beginning, man's feet walked free, but the road to separation.
L.A. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
Second round in London, the WBA Featherweight Championship. Eusebio Pedroza. In the red trunks, Barry McGuigan in blue. Pedroza, good movement. He was off balance there and started to stumble. And again, so much of the crowd so far away, it begins to look as if he was going down. And they respond. But nothing of the sort, simply off balance momentarily. Again, trying to stick that right hand in there. Both men known for their left hooks. Especially with the body. McGuigan is a great body puncher, likes to move that left up and down. But Pedroza could be the all-time master at it, at least among the current champions. Pedroza showing lots of movement in the first 2 rounds, but McGuigan pursuing him, not letting him rest. We talked about the fact some people thought that McGuigan needs a knockout to win this. If nothing else, he needs a big early lead, you would figure. Because history tells you that Pedroza is so tough, 11 through 15. And McGuigan has never gone more than 10. In fact, most of McGuigan's fights, all but 4, have ended in knockouts, whereas Pedroza has been going the distance now for a number of years. In fact, his last knockout in a championship fight was back in 1981. Everything else has gone the limit. Crowd chanting, Barry, Barry. Good right hand. McGuigan, the aggressor here in round 2. Pedroza trying to uppercut, but McGuigan stalking him. Again, trying to cut down the ring, and again he's able to get inside, though that left hand was partially picked off by Pedroza. McGuigan's face already reddened. Pedroza showing no marks. McGuigan again landing a good right hand. Pedroza comes back with that left, followed by that right uppercut inside. And again, he likes to use those elbows, likes to use those shoulders. End of the second round.
I care about you. Car in the world that outsells it. Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Third round now in London for the WBA Featherweight Championship. Barry McGuigan fighting out of Belfast. And Eusebio Pedroza, who is defending his title for the 20th time, and he's also defending it in his 9th different country. He's been a soldier of fortune. Snapping left hand by Pedroza, keeping that left in there. Another left hand. So McGuigan in pursuit. He's been the more aggressive, but Pedroza, good movement in the first couple of rounds. And he's landed his share of left hands and a good right uppercut there. But McGuigan sticking that left. Still trying to get inside. Decent right hand, partially picked off by the right glove of Eusebio Pedroza. Pedroza, when he gets on the ropes, it's tough to keep him there. He grabs you and gets off. It's odd in a way when you look at Pedroza, because he's an articulate man, a charming man, a dignified man, and yet he's known for rabbit punches, kidney punches, shoulders, elbows, and low blows. It's almost as if when Steve Garvey came to bat, somebody said he had cork in his bat. You just don't figure it to be when you look at the man. Stanley Christodoulou separating the two. The veteran referee from South Africa. Like to alert our local stations that at the end of this third round, we'll take a station break. Pedroza tying him up after scoring, after getting in a couple of punches and then tying him up. Crowd chanting, "Here we go, here we go." They've been singing that for 4 hours here at the Queens Park Rangers football ground. And Pedroza easily escaping the corner. Low blow and a warning from Christodoulou to Pedroza. Pedroza still showing good movement here in round 3 in this bout scheduled for 15. McGuigan and Pedroza live from London. We'll be back with more of AB.
It's a race for the record.
Starting the 4th round, crowd is booing because the bell sounded, but Pedroza did not have his mouthpiece in. And Christodoulou was able to keep McGuigan away until Pedroza put it in. 4th round. This will be a good test the way this one has started for the legs of Eusebio Pedroza, because he's exhibited tremendous stamina in the past. Normally finishes with a flourish, wins a lot of his fights with what he does in the latter rounds, but he's been forced because of McGuigan to move around quite a bit in the first 3. Crowd responding, but McGuigan's blows were missing. Pedroza with that 3-inch height advantage, and he's normally taller than most opponents. Likes to punch down on the shorter man if he can get the leverage. McGuigan coming off a big victory in Belfast over Juan Laporte, and really vaulted him into prominence, earned him this title shot in London. Laporte, the former WBC featherweight champion. And McGuigan won a 10-round decision, and there was no doubt about it. McGuigan working on the inside, and working with some effectiveness inside as well. Working to the side of the head, but now counter-punching is Pedroza. Again, if he can find room for that uppercut, he loves to use it. About 45 seconds remaining here in round 4. McGuigan staying right with him in the infighting, where Pedroza normally excels, but McGuigan excels there as well. Two quite similar in many aspects. Both physically strong, good body punchers, both with a good left hook. 4th round scheduled for 15. WBA World Featherweight Championship. Pedroza trying to retain a crown he has held since 1978. And McGuigan with some good infighting here in the latter half of round 4.
Ever since things have been made out of metal, there's...
Your work's been hard, your journey's been long, but coming home makes it all worthwhile. Then you head for the mountains. Bush. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush. Brewed the natural way for a taste as smooth as its name. Bush. Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountains. Head for Bush beer.
5th round action now as we come to you live on ABC's Wide World of Sports from London. Close through 4 rounds, no major surprises. The expectations of many close to the sport were that this one would go all the way. Nobody expecting an early knockout. Fifth round scheduled for 15. McGuigan, the pursuer. If you like aggression and forcing the action, then McGuigan has had the better of it in the first 4 rounds. But Pedroza has certainly landed his share of the blows. Very crafty, very savvy, very experienced. And this is what it, as we said at the beginning, would probably boil down to. The experience factor or the youth factor. Or is McGuigan getting his title shot too early? Is it too late for Pedroza? Those were the key questions going in. Again, the ever-present chanting and singing here in London. McGuigan has done most of his fighting in Belfast, and even though Pedroza likes to go on the road and he's not afraid to fight in the home country of the challenger, he felt that Belfast might be just a little too much, so they settled on London. So in essence, what they've done is moved half of Belfast here by the sound of the crowd. Minute to go in round 5. Tough fight to score so far, in the sense that, as are most fights, if there's a lot of infighting, if a lot of the scoring is done at close quarters, you oftentimes can see it in different manners. Good chopping left hand delivered by McGuigan that time, but Pedroza fighting back, and he lands a left in response with a half minute to go now in this, the 5th round. McGuigan still pursuing. McGuigan again with that left, but he has Pedroza backing away as he delivers it. So those blows are not landing with full effectiveness. Third of the way through the bout as the 5th round comes to an end here in England.
How does stock analysts get the facts
In the freezer.
It's not a mistake, Harry. One box to absorb freezer odors and a fresh box to absorb refrigerator odors.
Freshen the fridge and freezer with Arm & Hammer Pure Baking Soda.
6th round now, WBA Featherweight Championship. Eusebio Pedroza out of Panama. And Barry McGuigan fighting out of Belfast in Northern Ireland. Born in Clones. And if you saw the up close and personal we did on him before the fight, he a Catholic, his wife a Protestant. He has been a tremendous unifying symbol in his native land. One question that's been answered, basically, McGuigan has certainly not been overawed by being in there against Pedroza. There was some speculation in the local press here that he might be in over his head against the fabled champion. And with tremendous pressure on him, thinking about all of the people who have made the trek across the Irish Sea to be here. And of course, this is being telecast live throughout the United Kingdom. And the infighting continuing in the 6th round, and McGuigan doing very well, landing a good right hand. Pedroza bent over. McGuigan, the good left hook, uppercutting, taking a couple of pages out of the Pedroza book. And he too using his shoulder and his elbow and his forehead, and he is warned by Christodoulou. McGuigan, a boxing historian, loves to watch film footage of fighters, and no doubt he's picked up a few of Pedroza's tricks, having watched Eusebio oft times on film. Minute to go in round 6. Good round for Barry McGuigan in a close fight. by Pedroza, but McGuigan just shaking it off, still boring in. Final half minute of round 6. Pedroza, who may want to take a little rest during some of that infighting, but McGuigan is not letting him, not to this point in the bout. End of the 6th round. Seventh round scheduled for 15 here in London. Eusebio Pedroza defending. And Barry McGuigan trying to wrest the WBA featherweight championship before 25,000. It'll be the biggest gate in British boxing history. Ringside seats going for 100 pounds or about $128 to $130. It'll be the first £1 million gate in European boxing history. And all because of McGuigan and the support he's brought with him from the Irish Republic. Of course, it takes two to make a fight, and Eusebio Pedroza, certainly not unknown. And I'm sure the interest in the fight heightened, obviously, by the fact that not only is their man trying to win it for the Irish in McGuigan, but he'll do it against a legendary champion if he can. As the singing continues, a little less action here in round 7 than we've had thus far. McGuigan has been the pursuer. That was a decent right hand thrown by Pedroza. But again, McGuigan has been able to shake off almost everything Eusebio has thrown to this point and still bores in after everything the champion throws. For our local stations, we will be taking a station break at the end of the 7th round, this round. Minute to go now in round 7. Pedroza, just like that. He gets up at the count of 3. Mandatory 8 count is in effect. He looked like he was in control. He was just coming off a good double left hook, and then all of a sudden a right and a left, and McGuigan is pursuing him. McGuigan with another left hand. Pedroza backpedaling, then left snaps his head back. McGuigan looking to work his way inside. We will be staying between rounds. Not have the station break. Will stay between rounds as Pedroza tries to weather it. Another left hand, another left follows, but Pedroza still shaking, trying to last the round up against the ropes, and there's the bell, which is barely audible, and Christodoulou has to separate them. So Pedroza goes back to his corner. He had just delivered a good double ropes, and there's the bell, which is barely audible, and Christodoulou has to separate them. So Pedroza goes back to his corner. He had just delivered a good double left. And then all of a sudden, appearing to be in command at that point of the round, we will go back and take a look at the knockdown. The right hand and then the left, and up against the ropes, and down goes Pedroza. So the right hand set it up, followed by the left, as we take a look at the overhead view right now. Pedroza bent over, routine posture for him. That right connected. That stunned him. And the left put him down. And so all of a sudden, Barry McGuigan assumes command here in round 7 in what has been a very close battle. McGuigan has certainly held his own. It's been a tough fight to score because of all of the infighting, and now all of a sudden, McGuigan controls the 7th round as we get set for round 8. Pedroza, as he was in the first and second rounds, on his bicycle, moving around. But now it's a different story. He was fresh in the early rounds, and now it's a case of survival for him. Again, McGuigan has never gone more than 10. Pedroza very used to going 15, but not used to going down on the canvas. Pedroza trying to stick that left in there. His right hand getting through, but lacking the power. And again, he doesn't have that powerful a right to begin with. Pedroza aggressive here in round 8. Shaking off the effects of the knockdown and dictating the tempo of the 8th round. Pedroza working now on the body after going up top. So Pedroza able to weather that storm in round 7 and acquit himself quite capably and admirably here in round 8. But McGuigan comes back with a couple of left hands. That left hook. For our local stations, assuming we have no knockdowns, we will take a station break at the end of this round. Round 8, scheduled for 15. Chant of Barry, Barry. One of the things, of course, that would make a Pedroza a great champion is what he is exhibiting here in round 8. The fact that he goes down, hits the deck in the 7th, is in major trouble, and comes out and is fighting a very strong 8th round. That left hand by McGuigan looked a little better to the crowd than it did from ringside here. McGuigan trying to work up top as Pedroza goes to the body again. So the 8th round ending with infighting. And we'll be back with the WBA World Featherweight Championship after this from our local stations.
You could choose Heineken, so...
Action now in London for the WBA Featherweight Championship. Good fight. Eusebio Pedroza, who has been down once. Barry McGuigan. Pedroza, unbeaten in 9 years. The champion for over 7. Longest reigning current champion. A reminder, next week, during this time period, our continuing coverage of the U.S. Open, which commences Thursday from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. 2 weeks on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the great Don Curry and Pablo Baez from Atlantic City, as Donald Curry's career rolls along. Pedroza landing that right hand. Had a good 8th round. Good start for him here in round 9. And again now, the longer this fight goes, you would figure the better chance Pedroza has, because he is so tough in rounds 11 through 15. McGuigan unknown past the 10th round because he's never been there. But McGuigan looking, all things considered, pretty fresh here in round 9. Right, Pedroza's moving around. You never know right now, but he was down in round 7. Has shaken that off completely. A couple of sticking left hands followed by a right to the body. And he's warned there for a kidney punch. Again, warnings nothing new to Pedroza. The Laporte camp contended that he committed 50 fouls in their 15-round bout a couple of years back. The Pedroza camp said, what about Laporte? How many did he commit? Warnings do not deduct points from the card. McGuigan landing a good right hand. Able to penetrate the defense. Follows it up with a left hand. But Pedroza sticks that left in the face of McGuigan. And tries to tie him up. And uses that right uppercut. Boring in on him. Half a minute to go. 9th round in London. An exchange in the middle of the ring. McGuigan trying to fight his way off the ropes to the right and the left, and he hasn't hurt again. He's wobbling in the waning seconds of the 9th round. Pedroza wobbling. He's about to go down, and the bell. There's the bell. You can't hear it, but it sounded. Pedroza finally hears it. We'll stay here. No commercial at the end of the 9th round. So all of a sudden, what it looked like Pedroza had totally shaken off the effects of what had taken place in round 7. Looked so good in round 8. Looked good at the outset of round 9. McGuigan is able to catch him at the end again. So Pedroza shaken once more. Again, the right hand. Snapping his head. This is with the left hand. And then following up on it. Off the ropes comes McGuigan. And the damage had been done at that point as he tried to follow up. That coming with just a few seconds remaining. You can see the rubbery legs of Eusebio Pedroza, who was about ready to go, and is fortunate that he was that close to the end of the round. At least a couple of punches got in after the bell, but it's so noisy in here, you can't hear the bell. With 25,000 screaming fans, Pedroza still on his stool, taking advantage of everything he possibly can. He can contend, and he can't hit. And the damage had been done at that point as he tried to follow up. That coming with just a few seconds remaining. You can see the rubbery legs of Eusebio Pedroza, who was about ready to go, and is fortunate that he was that close to the end of the round. At least a couple of punches got in after the bell, but it's so noisy in here, you can't hear the bell. With 25,000 screaming fans, Pedroza still on his stool, taking advantage of everything he possibly can. He can contend, and he can't hear it, and all of a sudden, he goes to his knees here at the outset of round 10. Pedroza contending he was forced down, warned McGuigan for pushing him down, as McGuigan keeps pursuing. But Pedroza is backpedaling here in round 10. Pedroza has his legs just not right at this particular point, not at all right, wobbling and rubbery as he backpedals toward the ropes. McGuigan stalking him, pursuing him, snatching that left, trying to follow with a right. So Pedroza, the great champion, is really going to have to dig deep now if he's to pull this one out. 10th round. Not that he's that far behind necessarily on the cards, because it's been very even up until the 7th, and he looked good in the 8th, but his legs look so rubbery right now. That's where he's going to have to dig deep. The singing again. Here we go, the singing from the capacity crowd at this soccer field in London. Pedroza trying to hold him off with that left jab, buying more time to fully recover. McGuigan still looking very fresh, and this is as far as he's gone now, and it's a distance he's gone only on a couple of occasions, as most of his fights have ended in knockouts. He's never been past the 10th round. Coming up on the 1-minute mark remaining in round 10. Pedroza's legs now appearing more steady at the end of round 10. And certainly they did at the beginning of round 10 when he came out level. He was down once in the 7th and nearly down in the 9th. So we're coming to the end of the 10th round in this WBA Featherweight Championship with a warning issued there to McGuigan in this bout scheduled for 15.
Ride and handling. Another demonstration.
In a bank.
Start of the 11th round. Eusebio Pedroza. Barry McGuigan. So McGuigan, for the first time in his career, goes into the 11th. Pedroza has been there several times. Again, Eusebio has not knocked out an opponent in a championship fight since 1981. So he knows what it's like to win a decision, and he also knows what it's like to come from behind and win those last 5 rounds, what they call the champions rounds. Again, he's been down once and nearly down a second time. McGuigan has not been close to going down. Fought well. He's been aggressive. He's pursued and held his own on the infighting. Mark now of round 11. Worth pointing out again now, 10-point must system. 2 judges, one from Denmark, the other from Venezuela. And the referee do the scoring, Stanley Christodoulou from South Africa. And as we said early on, if you think the judges can be influenced, and Pedroza slips down. That was a slip, slipped on a wet spot. If you think the judges would be influenced by the crowd solidly backing McGuigan as he gets warned again by Christodoulou, that would obviously be neutralized by the WBA being based in Panama with a Panamanian champion. Pedroza is able to look as good in these final 5 rounds as he normally does. He's got a real good shot to pull it out. Waning seconds here in round 11. Coming to you live from London, England, Pedroza and McGuigan.
There's a style in you.
So well thought out, it even makes getting to the picnic a picnic.
Look up in the sky.
Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Round 12 now, live from London, where it's about 10:40 Saturday night, and it is now cold enough to see your breath. That's Queens Park Rangers football ground. Biggest gate in European boxing history. Barry McGuigan trying to wrest the title from Eusebio Pedroza of Panama. To Pedroza, but Christodoulou has not taken points away from either man, despite numerous warnings, which is not uncommon in these 2-man fight, especially in the case of Pedroza. one knockdown in the fight coming in the 7th, and then a near knockdown in the 9th round. In both cases, McGuigan stunning Pedroza. McGuigan again looking quite fresh, showing no signs of weariness. He's been fresh from the start. Pedroza landing a good right hand caught him. So Pedroza not necessarily landing a lot of spectacular punches. He really doesn't have that much punching power. McGuigan has more. But as was the case with that right hand, a good, effective blow. McGuigan stalking, but Pedroza able to angle back and angle away from the punches. Pedroza getting that right hand in again. And another right hand and tying him up. He's a master at that. He's done that through the years. 20th title defense, end of round 12 coming up.
Come on, America. Drive over for Firestone's.
Goes for mint. So when you can't smoke, you can still make out like a bandit. The school bandits. The little pouch of tobacco pleasure.
13th round coming up. Barry McGuigan and Eusebio Pedroza for the WBA Featherweight Championship. This late in the fight, both men active, good movement. Remember, Pedroza's legs were so rubbery after he was shaken up in round 9. Again, another warning there for usage of the elbow by McGuigan. Pedroza, that right uppercut. Getting in. Pedroza, it goes without saying, obvious boxing skills, showing it, the savvy, the experience. He's been here before. He's been to the 13th on many occasions. And right now appears to be in command of this round. Round action. Good right by McGuigan. And Pedroza was shaken again. By left again. And he's backpedaling. His legs are rubbery. Pedroza may be ready to go again here in round 13. Christodoulou looking very, very closely. Keeping a very close watch on Pedroza, who's in a lot of trouble. McGuigan with another left hand. The crowd going insane here. Pedroza trying to tie him up. He's been down in the 7th. He was nearly down in the 9th. He's nearly down in the 13th. As McGuigan comes on with a real flourish after Pedroza had looked so sharp early in round 13.
You can say that again.
I like wrestling.
Perfect.
L.A., sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
14th round now in London. Eusebio Pedroza trying to retain a WBA featherweight championship, but Barry McGuigan has had 3 outstanding rounds. 7, 9, and then 14, and again it's Pedroza going down, but the warning issued for the second time for the same infraction to McGuigan as Pedroza is able to come back with a good right hand. McGuigan had pushed him down. 14th round scheduled for 15. The Barry champ. Obviously, it would be a classic moment in Irish and British boxing history where McGuigan to wrest the crown from a great champion. Pedroza exhibiting many of the skills that he has in the past in those latter rounds, but not quite as sharp as he's been in recent fights. And if there was any question about the stamina of McGuigan and whether or not he could go past 10, he's answered that rather thoroughly. Coming up on a minute remaining in round 14, a right hand getting in. The 14th round. McGuigan with a right hand tries to follow it up, but again Pedroza is able to tie him up. But Pedroza is going to have to do more than tie McGuigan up if he's to win this, in at least the estimation of this observer at ringside. That's the end of the 14th round. So as we stay and we look into the corner of first Pedroza and then McGuigan, again we've seen, and you've all seen through the years, some crazy scoring decisions, but McGuigan, despite the closeness of the fight early on, and then in the 10th, 11th, and 12th, had the dominating 7th, had the great finish in 9, and the near knockdown again in 13. And appears to have had the measure of Pedroza. And I wouldn't want to think about the reaction of this crowd if they were to give a 15-round decision to the Panamanian. 15th and final round. As the 2 touch gloves, so this one, as was expected by a good many observers, will go the distance. The question of youth versus... I wouldn't want to think about the reaction of this crowd if they were to give a 15-round decision to the Panamanian. 15th and final round. As the 2 touch gloves, so this one, as was expected by a good many observers, will go the distance. The question of youth versus experience, and it appears the younger man has had the measure of the more experienced one thus far tonight. He He has certainly, as we stated earlier, not been at all awed. Many observers here feeling that he had gotten in, had McGuigan over his head a little too early in his career. That has not been the case. Still pursuing, still incredibly fresh for the 15th round for a man who has never been this distance. Pedroza knocked down in the 7th, nearly down in the 9th, nearly down in the 13th. McGuigan never close to going down. About a minute and 45 seconds remaining in the fight. Pedroza still looking to tie him up, and that's not going to do him any good right now. So a much anticipated, heralded duel has turned out to be a very good one in London. Barry McGuigan and Eusebio Pedroza, with McGuigan very likely on the verge of unseating the longest reigning current champion in boxing. Seconds left in the 15th and final round. McGuigan still moving, still active, bobbing and weaving and boxing and looking for the opening. Never showing signs of wavering, tiring. A great performance by the young Irishman tonight. Pedroza holding on, and maybe in the waning seconds of holding on to a title. And this one comes to an end. This crowd absolutely erupts. Eusebio Pedroza, unbeaten for the last 9 years, the champion for 7, and there is, well, according to the crowd anyway, the new champion. Still, of course, to be officially determined, but up on the shoulders goes Barry McGuigan, the symbol of Irish unity, the 24-year-old from Clones. Pedroza, as is customary, with his arm upraised, and will come back and have the decision from London. As this one goes all the way, we'll get the decision when we come back in a moment.
Hey, you want to know how to make a car sing? Well, after you wash it, just get out the old...
This week is that of Nazi war criminal Joseph Mengele. And media analyst Jeff Greenfield looks at the political implications of Rambo, Sylvester Stallone's second film about an angry Vietnam veteran. Now back to ABC's Wide World of Sports.
All right, we're back. The ring announcer with the decision.
Come on, get down. Get down. Get down.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the result of your unanimous decision.
Barry McGuigan with a unanimous decision victory. 147-140, 148-138, 149-140. They are going crazy at the Queen's Park Rangers football ground in London, as Barry McGuigan wins a unanimous decision and wrests the crown from Eusebio Pedroza. Let's get a word with Barry McGuigan. A sensational performance. Did you think you could possibly dominate the fight the way you did?
No, I
I didn't think I could dominate the way I did. This man here has guided me from the word go, said I could dominate it, and what he said was right, and I'm so delighted, honest to God, I'm so delighted. I dedicate this fight to the young kid that died when he fought me in 1982. And I want to say that it just wasn't an ordinary fighter that beat him. This was a world champion.
Well, there was no question about it. The way you dominated this fight, was there any way in your mind beforehand you thought you'd be able to control the tempo of the fight the way you did and be as fresh as you were all the way through?
I didn't think so, no. I was very surprised at the pace of the fight, but I was surprised that he was so difficult to hit. I tried so hard throughout the fight and I couldn't land clean punches on him. But I'm feeling so great now, and I could go another 15 rounds. I really mean that. I feel so terrific. I feel absolutely brilliant. I tried to pace him out of it in the last round because he was so tricky and hard to hit. I tried to outfox him and I tried to make him look bad and then catch him with counters. But I put him down, I think, a couple of times, twice throughout the fight. And I want to congratulate my trainer, my manager, everybody. I love this man here. He's treated me so well. I'd like to thank ABC for coming over and giving the American public a chance to see me.
Well, you gave everybody a great show. Congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
And listen, I'd like to say before I go, hello to the Toronto Supporters Club in Canada. Good on yous, boys. Good on yous.
Okay, Barry McGuigan winning a unanimous decision. Just a great performance by him. And right now, let's go back to New York and Jim Lampley.
ABC's Wide World of Sports has been brought to you by Exceptionally Smooth Michelob. Michelob, the beer of choice for people who are moving up. Where you're going, it's Michelob. By Firestone, with over 4,000 dealers coast to coast. Fine quality tires, master care service, and a complete line of batteries. Come on, America, drive over to Firestone. By Ford and your local Ford dealer who invite you to see the 1985 Ford cars and trucks. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Skull Bandits, an individual portion of tobacco in a neat pre-moistened pouch for tobacco pleasure without lighting up. It's the little pouch of tobacco pleasure. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. Flying is United's job, and United is now serving 50 top cities in the United States. Stay tuned for ABC News World News Saturday.
Stevie Cruz entering the ring.